York. Unique.
My posse is on Broadway.
What is up, gamer boys? It's March, and it's March Madness. We got our bracket made. Ben and I sat down and, figured it all out. We disagreed on a lot. There's a lot of upsets that I wanted to happen that he's more realistic about, but we'll figure it out.
Most married couples figure it out. I mean,
Yeah.
not our parents.
We went to a few counseling sessions. It's okay. It's good. All right, let's go.
Let it all work out.
in.
Let's get this thing rolling. So we're going to start at the top of the East region. Duke meets, Duke meets NC Central. And, that's
the easy game.
Duke could meet who the hell ever. It's
Dude.
1 versus 16, and it's not
Matt
UVA.
cut to Zion, dunking the ball. They're the best team in the NCAA by far. I mean, it's not even a challenge. They could probably beat the Phoenix Suns right now. It's who cares?
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
And they're going to move on, and they're going to meet the winner of the 8-9 game, which is going to be, in our honest opinion, UCF.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on UCF?
UCF rebounding is key. They're 18-1 when out rebounding the opponent. They grab all the boards. VCU lost Marcus Evans in the Atlantic 10 tournament due to knee injury. He was their leader in points, assists, and steals, and it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back. I don't think he can. This UCF team is really good. Taco Fall is like 7'6". Cut to Taco Fall. It's
I
going to be
think
crazy.
UCF's length is just going to win them that game. They will fall to Duke, and Duke will advance to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Moving down the bracket.
This is a good one right here.
Yep. Gotta love these 5 versus 12 matchups. Everybody kind of picks on these on a yearly basis. Our first 5 versus 12, or our first victim, is going to be Mississippi State as they fall to the Jesuits of Liberty.
Yep. Liberty is going to take down Mississippi State due to the fact that they are 4th in 2-point percentage and 64th from deep. They can shoot the lights out of the ball, and Mississippi State is very average. And
A lot of bad
Liberty
losses.
has a lot of top 25 wins, right?
For a school their size, a mid-major, I think they did pretty well against top 25 teams. They also have God on their side, the Christian God.
Jesus.
So,
And if you guys haven't accepted Jesus into your life yet,
you can help them out with that.
Yeah.
You're an ordained minister.
I am an ordained minister.
Hit up Noah for
I
weddings,
became
baptisms.
ordained on September 11th, 2016, due to the Universal Life Church.
Osama bin Laden's 50th
I forget what the
birthday.
website is, but check them out. They can hook you up with some ordained, whatever your God needs are.
Yeah, you're an
I got
ordained minister. I don't know anybody at Virginia Tech that's an ordained minister, but
Nope.
they're going to be moving on after taking care of St. Louis really quickly.
Yeah.
That's a layup for them. I haven't heard a good thing about St. Louis necessarily. I haven't heard much about St. Louis, period, good or bad. But
The thing with
my
this
gut
game
tells me VT
is
moves
Justin
on.
Robinson has to be 100%. He was injured for a bit of the season. They shoot really bad when he is not on the team. He's really good at creating, and that's a key part of this Virginia Tech offense is Justin Robinson, whatever.
Say it 3 times fast. They have some signature wins in the ACC this year too, so they're really battle tested. I think it's an easy game for them. They move on to play Liberty, keeping it in-state there in Virginia. They take care of business. They're going to move on. Virginia Tech is to play Duke in the Sweet 16, a much-awaited rematch after how things panned out in the ACC. Moving down the bracket, we got Maryland versus Belmont. Belmont is a pretty coveted, mid-major team.
A lot of people are picking this upset. I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't see anybody on Belmont beating or out-rebounding Jalen Smith and Bruno Fernando.
Yeah, that Maryland's front court, they're the truth. I think Maryland, they are going to take care of this game, but
Stock up for Bruno Fernando.
yeah, they will definitely, on an individual note, Bruno Fernando, his stock will go up as a result of playing in this tournament. That's huge for him, huge for the Terps ultimately after a kind of shaky season, especially in conference. Some weird losses. They lost to Illinois, which is
It
Pretty
was up and
embarrassing,
down
to
with
say
this
the
Maryland
least.
team the entire season.
Yeah, it shows.
I think this team is arguably as good as the Mello Trimble Sweet 16 team. That's why I have them getting
Yeah, you
back
could-
to the Sweet 16.
You definitely make that argument. They will meet LSU in the second round. LSU is going to take care of the Skull and Bones back Yale
See, this is one
Bulldogs.
we disagreed on because
Yeah, we
Yale,
went back and forth on
Yale
this.
is ninth in the country in field goal percentage. They're the reigning Ivy League champs. I love them. I don't know why. I just do, and
Yeah.
I see them beating this LSU team. He doesn't, so we took his word because we got a few upsets coming my way that I decided on.
Yeah, LSU is one of those teams we were high on, like, you know, as we got
High
into
on all
March
the
towards the
SEC
end.
teams.
Yeah, towards the end of the season. I mean, the SEC really, they really bounced back just as a conference this year, top to bottom. They're very good. Shows by the number of teams in this tournament. So, I think LSU should take care of business against Yale. I mean, be on a mild upset alert. So I think they're going to take care of business, but don't rule out an upset. They will move on to play Maryland, a game which Maryland will win and move on to the Sweet 16. And moving down the bracket, but sticking in the Big Ten, Louisville meets 10 seed Minnesota. What do you think about this one? I know this is a pretty interesting matchup as far as 7s and 10s go.
So Amir Kofi or Coffee or whatever.
Amir Coffee, yeah.
Coffee and Jordan Murphy combined for 13 free throw attempts a game.
Get to the line,
They get
it's
to the
huge.
line. This Louisville defense is known, or Louisville team is known for the defense, and I don't know if they can commit stupid penalties and or fouls,
Fouls,
whatever
penalties,
they're called in basketball.
grievances.
But I don't know if they'll commit stupid fouls down low and get these guys to the line. But if they do get to the line, I see Minnesota winning.
Yeah, I mean, Amir Coffee has been...
Nothing besides this defense is what's nothing sticks out about this Louisville team at all.
Yeah, they have some bad losses, and we'll get to that in a moment. But Amir Coffee, low-key, has been given the Big Ten fits for the past few years. I mean, Isaiah Washington, Mr. Jellyfam, hasn't necessarily panned out in Minnesota. He's a measly bench player.
Not at all.
Jordan Murphy's been a solid force, inside-out big man for Minnesota for the past few years. As a Wisconsin fan, I'll just divulge that real quick. We'll get to them very shortly. As a Wisconsin fan, you would think, I would think that these guys have run out of eligibility by now. But here they are in the NC.
They're seventh-year seniors.
Yeah, here they are in March Madness. Pretty easy game, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
Louisville kind of crashed and burned after what was a good mid-stretch of the season.
Yeah.
As the plot thickened for their conference play schedule, I think they kind of folded.
I
That
think
Syracuse
Louisville-
game comes to mind.
Hot take here: Louisville peaked at Kevin Ware.
Ooh, yeah, that's
Hot
it's hot in the studio, and the takes are equivalent to global warming. We're going to move down the bracket into the West region. I should say they will meet Michigan State. I'm getting ahead of myself here. March is exciting, guys. Just bear with us. Michigan State, Minnesota. Michigan State takes the cake in that game, as they did in the Big Ten tournament. And Michigan State will meet Maryland in the Sweet 16 for the East region. Just a quick disclaimer, guys. We're just going to go up to the Sweet 16 in this bracket.
Yeah.
It's March.
We're gonna be wrong on
opinions.
90% of these
Opinions
games.
are out. Your 9-year-old neighbor, who is a ninja stan, has filled out 9 brackets already. The brackets are for everybody, as you can see. 2 douche weasels right here, talking that talk. So I mean, the chips. We'll let the chips fall where they may. We'll let March be March.
Yeah.
And we do want to be able to reconvene and really just analyze the damage that will be our brackets as we deferred on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So we will reconvene before
The Sweet 16.
yeah, around the Sweet
Yeah,
16 next week, and we will kind of take this thing piece by piece. But moving on to the West region, number 1 seed Gonzaga obviously is going to take care of business against the 16 seed there, Fairleigh Dickinson, who actually had a pretty good play-in game, if I'm not mistaken. Gonzaga will take care of business there, and then they will run into the winner of the 8-9 game between Syracuse and Baylor. Baylor's going to move on. They will play Gonzaga. Thoughts on that Baylor team? I know we had a little bit of a discussion with
This
that
is
game.
another team that the Baylor team is another team that thrives off of rebounds. They are the 3rd best team in the country on grabbing those offensive rebounds, getting those second chance points.
That's all.
Q's is the 13th worst in offensive rebounds allowed. So those second chance points are going to be vital in this game. I think Baylor takes it with a cakewalk.
Yeah, 100%. Syracuse, they really hit a high water mark when Jim Boeheim pissed his pants in a barn burner at Cameron Indoor.
Yeah.
That was a high mark of the season for them, for sure.
I said Louisville peaked at Kevin Ware. Syracuse peaked.
Yeah, I mean, I peaked in high
Carmelo
school.
Anthony.
These things happen,
Yeah.
guys. But I think Syracuse.
I don't think I peaked yet.
That's that's a discussion for another podcast. I think Syracuse, the rubber just kind of wore off the tires by the end of the season. The ACC is really a battleground. Maybe not in college football, but college basketball, certainly a battleground for sure. I think the rubber just wore off the tires for Syracuse. So I'm going to use that analogy for a third time in about 7 seconds. But this team just relies too much on good shooting nights, and it's ironic because their shooters are very streaky. I mean, when they're on, but when they're off, they're off. It goes without saying. Gonzaga will beat Baylor, though, and move on to the Sweet 16. Moving down the bracket, another 5 versus 12 matchup coming out hot. We've got Murray State, Ja Morant, taking care of business against a really subpar Marquette team.
So Ja Morant is the second best draft prospect in this tournament for a reason. You could argue that R.J. Barrett is better, but I think Ja Morant, for the sample size we've gotten of him, is very good. Yeah. And I also think that this Murray State team is overlooked because it is the second or third best perimeter defense in the nation. This Marquette team plays bad when Marcus Howard is taken out of the game, and I think he'll be taken out of this game.
I think if Marquette's other players aren't able to, if they aren't able to feed off of Marcus Howard's, they aren't able to feed off of his play, I think it's really going to take them out of the game as a team. Marcus Howard is the heart and soul of this team. I mean, he's scored 30 points, 10 times this season?
Yeah, and
I mean,
they also are losing when he does not score more than 20 points.
Yep.
And it's like a known fact that if Marcus Howard doesn't score 20 points, they are losing. So you're playing the fourth best or third best perimeter defense in the country.
And they're going to make it a point of emphasis to take him out of the game.
Yeah, he's getting taken out.
So as Marquette goes, so goes Marcus Howard and vice versa. We got Murray State moving on to face Florida State. They're going to take care of Vermont pretty quickly.
How come every year Florida State just has like long, lengthy athletes?
Jonathan Isaac now, Phil Kofer.
Yeah,
this is a good team, like you said, very athletic. Bernie Sanders isn't coaching this Vermont team, so I don't think they stand a chance. It would be a sight to see Bernie Sanders coach a basketball team. You got to get the damn rebound so everybody can get health care. It's not that hard. But this is not a Bernie Sanders coach Vermont team. This is
Vermont, good lacrosse team.
Yeah, definitely. This is a very athletic Florida State team, and the name of their coach is escaping me right now. Dude's been there a long time, takes care of business for sure. FSU I think they're due for a good run into the tournament here. I have them actually getting to the Sweet 16 where they will meet Gonzaga. That is going to be a great game, mark my words. Moving down the bracket, Buffalo. This is a team that I was pretty high on, especially towards the end of the season. Yeah. As we started, watching more college basketball, very experienced. The game, who were they playing? It was a conference game. They absolutely drubbed somebody. I can't remember off the top of my head, but what struck me in watching X game was just the confidence they had on the floor, their ability to move as a unit. The athletes they had. Yeah. Just a ton of playmakers on the floor for this.
We have this Buffalo team going deep.
Yeah, it's just a culmination of years of effort and build up for this team. We have them taking care of the 11 seed here, and they will move on to face the very coveted Texas Tech team led by Jarrett Culver, one of the better two-way players in the country. They make quick work in Northern Kentucky. What do you think of this Buffalo Texas Tech matchup?
I think it comes down to defense. If Buffalo can contain Jarrett Culver, like we talked about, and kind of limit his shots, then this Texas Tech team does not stand a chance against Buffalo. Buffalo's a good team.
It also boils down to a good shot selection for Buffalo. I mean,
I don't think that being said, it goes the same. If Jarrett Culver can contain this Buffalo offense, because he's a great defensive player.
Yeah, if he can make plays, kind of
That's another. Texas Tech always has good
turnover
two-way guys.
points.
Zaire Smith last year, Jarek Culver this year. They always have those good two-way guys.
I think this could be a really good game, but I think Buffalo is going to move on, for all intents and purposes, to the Sweet 16, and we're going to move down the bracket to see who they meet. 7 versus 10, Nevada versus Florida. This is a great game right here. Nevada made a very deep run last year. I think they made it to the Elite 8. And the Martin brothers are back again for part 2. The Martin brothers and the band. They will meet a very scrappy Florida team, though. I remember watching Florida versus LSU. Florida actually beat LSU on their home court. That was a huge signature win for them. I think that put them into this tournament in and of itself. I actually have Florida here winning this game. I mean, just the number of athletes on the floor for them, the guys who can just score the rock. It boils down to experience in March, and I think Florida, while they've been snake bitten by injury,
Florida has been
takes care of
competitive
business.
with the top teams despite their record, and they also have the 24th best defense at creating turnovers. So this Nevada team seems like it. I don't know. The veteran leadership. I don't think it can lead them that deep into this tournament. I love the Martin brothers, but outside of them, there's no one.
They don't come from nearly as tough a conference either. They actually lost to Utah State towards the end of the regular season. I don't even think they won their conference championship. I believe that was Utah State as well, taking care of business. Florida is really, we'll mention it again, it's going to be a theme as far as the tournament goes. Florida is hardened by that SEC schedule, a very deep conference this year. I think that's going to ultimately prepare them and put them over the hump for this game. Moving on, Michigan, you know the deal when it's March. Michigan shows out. John Beilein's teams have been really good the past few years.
Hot take here, but I think one of the
last
Michigan
year.
teams, gets upset. I don't know which one, but one of the two. I just feel like that both Michigan teams are very unpredictable.
It's crazy because they'll both be facing 10 seeds in the second round now that I look at it.
Yep.
Yeah, so anything can happen, B. But for all intents and purposes, we have Michigan moving on to the Sweet 16 to face the upstart Buffalo team. And that's going to round it out for this side of the bracket, the East-West side of the bracket. So just to read down one more time, we have Duke and Virginia Tech, the first Sweet 16 matchup. Say that 7 times fast. The first Sweet 16 matchup in the East. And then the second one will be 2 Big Ten foes, Maryland and Michigan State. Keeping it very in-house with those 2 matchups. Same conference for both games. Some good rematches, too, especially the Duke-Virginia Tech game. I'm really looking forward to that.
Before we get on to the right side of the bracket, let's have a quick word from our sponsors. Noah's Corner. My kid got beat up on the bus again.
Yeah, moving down the bracket, we'll have Buffalo and Michigan. That's going to round out the left side of the bracket. Moving on to the South region, led by number 1 seed Virginia.
It's so hard to put Virginia to win this game. It's the same team. It's literally the same team it was last year.
Virginia is so boring, but yet they're at the top of pretty much every season.
I would love for them to lose this game.
Oh, it'd be great. Tony Bennett would be, he'd be.
Tony Allen.
There's been riots in Charlottesville before. There might be another one if Virginia loses. Different context for the latter, but anyway, Ole Miss is gonna win that 8-9 game versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma disappointed last year.
Ole Miss is the 3rd best team in field goal percentage too. At never mind, I didn't write down the percentage, but they're the 3rd best team.
You know where Ole Miss plays? The SEC.
Yeah.
They're coming out of the
SEC.
It's good. I mean, they're going to get taken care of by Virginia, obviously. Virginia's going to move on to the Sweet 16. Well, not obviously, but I think if Virginia gets past that first round, they'll be fine. Moving down the bracket, 5 versus 12, my Wisconsin Badgers are going to face Oregon. How the hell is a conference champion a 12 seed? Riddle me that, dude. Total BS. I hate to say it, but I think Oregon's going to win this game. I'm just not confident in our guard play. Brad Davidson's been pretty unimpressive this year, and too much of the load has been put on Ethan Happ's shoulders. I just don't think they take care of business. I got a bad feeling. I've been wrong before, and it's felt good being wrong. Unironically enough, but
Oregon's on an 8-game win streak.
Yeah, Oregon is on a 8-game win streak there. George Jetson.
And during which
Mhm.
their opponents have shot 23% from three.
How many full moons have there been in that stretch? Could you tell me?
Probably approximately 6.
Nice. Quick math, everybody. Yeah, Oregon's gonna move on to the Sweet 16 after beating. We have another upset. Ding, ding, ding. Number 13 UC Irvine is gonna upend Kansas State.
The best 2-point defense in the country. I've been saying it. They're going to win this game.
Yep.
They also have the 10th best rebound rate at 55%. They grab 55% of the rebounds in the game.
They're gonna
come on.
They're gonna force Kansas. They're gonna force Kansas State into some bad shots for sure. Just on your point about the 2-point defense, but they themselves have to take good shots. That goes without saying.
I think you said they haven't played a top 25 team all year. That they have to step up and show that they are capable of sticking with this Kansas State team because Kansas State's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean this could easily go the other way too.
Yeah.
Kansas State just got Dean Wade back. That's their best player. They missed him in the Big 12 tournament. So with him coming back into the fold, I think it really makes things interesting to say the least. He was on limited minutes last year as well, and I think that's why Kansas State ended up getting bounced just because he wasn't totally available. But with him back in the fold when he's fully healthy, I think it's going to make a difference. But as far as the bracket goes, we do have UC Irvine going. I'm going to be watching that one closely, though. I think UC Irvine has some upset potential, and we will ride the upset wave.
Every year, there's a team that upsets and goes all the way to like the Final Four.
We will ride the upset wave here, but Oregon will move on and get beaten by Virginia in the Sweet 16. Not to get too ahead of ourselves, but 6-11 in the South is Villanova versus St. Mary's. It's not going to be too sweet for the champs this year.
Nope.
I think
it hasn't been.
No, it's been a very bumpy year. I think their time at the top, so to speak, is over.
What team?
Villanova.
No, you gotta say Wildcats. Come on, High School Musical.
Yeah, I hit puberty when I was 11, bro. I've been drinking beer since I was 12. Nah, I wasn't. I was never 12.
Think Troy Bolton got hit by his dad?
That's another topic for another day, sport.
He definitely did.
St. Mary's.
He definitely did.
I'm not going to confirm.
St. Mary's has a top 50 perimeter defense. They also shoot 36.
They beat Gonzaga, who's a 1 seed in this tournament.
They also
11.
beat.
That's wild.
Or they also have it shot in 37% from 3 all season. They're a really good team, and Villanova has been extremely unimpressive.
Yeah, I just think Villanova's time is up. St. Mary's moves on. We have yet another upset here.
Another one.
Old Dominion will beat Purdue. Purdue just on another unimpressive team this year.
Old Dominion
stumbled, punch drunk out of the gate. I think that's going to show itself again as they are away from West Lafayette.
Let me just read my...
Adjust your spectacles.
Old Dominion has wins over Q's and VCU.
Both of whom are in the field.
They also have a fantastic interior defense. And Carson Edwards for the Boilermakers has not been good recently. He's been really inefficient from three.
They have good role players, but he's like the only bona fide scorer. It's like he's the only one on the team. It's like, hey, go get a bucket. He's the only one that's really capable of that kind of scoring.
They also, the Boilermakers are, like you said, they are 8-9 out of West Lafayette. So
neutral site even is not going to bode well for them.
Yeah.
St. Mary's makes quick work of ODU. Just St. Mary's better coach, more seasoned. I think they move on. Moving down the bracket, Cincinnati's going to make quick work of Iowa. Iowa was okay in Big Ten play.
Iowa has won just 2 out of the past 8, and 4 of those losses have been of 14 points or more.
Yeah,
so.
I think this Iowa team is very deflated. Just overall, after watching the Big Ten for quite a few years now, I think Iowa's unwillingness to change is going to defeat them in this tournament. It's really going to show itself here. Cincinnati's also a very good team. I think
they're the 30th in 2-point percentage for the or opponent. 2-point
percentage. Cincinnati's a big sleeper in this tournament. I think a 7 seed is going to be used as some bulletin board material. It's kind of a slap in the face for a very competitive team out of the AAC. Tennessee is going to brush its teeth with Colgate. They will also skin the Bearcats in Cincinnati. This Tennessee team is
Yeah.
ridiculous, just very deep. You know, they
They have a guy named Admiral on their team.
Yeah,
I
come on.
really think they're
Yeah,
going
it's not Admiral Nelson either. It's not cheap vodka. This Admiral Schofield is
Admiral Nelson, Captain Morgan's gay cousin.
precisely. Admiral Schofield is the truth. He is an absolute unit, and I don't say that about a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah, Tennessee's moving on to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
They definitely took care of business this year in the SEC. They will
And-
meet St. Mary's.
and
That
this-
is going to be a great game.
The same goes for UNC.
Mhm.
UNC will make it.
Yeah, UNC is going to beat fellow in-state university Iona, and then Washington is going to. They're
I
gonna
love Washington's defense.
They're gonna
They play
skim
zone.
by. They're gonna skim by Utah State. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a high scoring game though. I think.
Matisse
Thibault.
Matisse Thibault is
Been there.
He's like Earl Thomas on a basketball court. It's
Matisse
so
Thibault. Well, for one, he dates Michael Porter's sister, which is pretty wild. I don't know who's taller in that relationship.
Remember when
but-
Michael Porter dated the girl from the Game Plan with The Rock?
Madison Pettis.
Oh my god.
Sickest glow up of all time. In other news, yeah, I think that's going to be a really good game. Utah State really earned it this year in the Mountain West. I think they're a solid team, but Washington's just as good. Got a transfer in. Don't know if you know his name. Quade Green. Yep,
Yeah,
he's going to be
he's
an
pretty
X factor in that game. Yeah, Matisse Thybulle has really waited his turn. You remember he was on those shitty teams with that shitty team with Markel Fultz. The 1 year Markel
Man.
Fultz.
It's almost like
What happened to that guy?
Markel
man?
Fultz was going to be better than Lonzo Ball. I remember it like it was yesterday. Someone
Yep.
told
And
me.
then I backed into Jake's car and the space-time continuum shifted.
Shouldn't have parked there.
Should not have parked there. I will take that to the bank. And another 5 versus 12 upset. Oh shit, breaking news. New Mexico State is going to take care of a pretty spotty Auburn team. Auburn really cannot shoot the
This
three.
is another.
New Mexico
that-
State's time has come.
This is another one that comes down to rebounding.
Mhm.
New Mexico State is second in rebounding rate, and there are only 2 teams that made the tournament that have given up more offensive rebounds
Right.
than Auburn. So, second chance points is I just made up a word, put it in the dictionary. But yeah, second chance points. I mean, that's going to be the key factor for a lot of these first round games.
Yeah, and I actually happen to think that New Mexico State is going to jump Kansas, get some revenge. What?
Talk that shit, young boy.
Shut up.
Talk that shit, yeah.
Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, New Mexico State's gonna jump Kansas. Kansas just a weak team this
Yeah,
year.
Kansas sucks.
Just not as they
You heard
say, not it, Chief.
You heard me.
They will get thoroughly decimated by UNC as UNC cakewalks to the Final Four. In that Sweet 16 matchup, UNC will take care of business.
Yep.
Iowa State takes care of a very garbage Ohio State team, for lack of a better description. They will meet Houston in the second round, in which Houston will move on to the Sweet 16. Houston was beaten by a very good Cincinnati team in the AAC final. This Houston team can really,
They're good.
They can score the rock.
They're good.
They're missing my boy, Mr. Man Bun.
Ed Oliver.
Him too. They're missing Rob Gray from last season.
Yeah.
He would have been a nice piece on this team. I think, unlike Amir Coffey, he ran out of eligibility.
I'm getting excited for the next one.
Yeah, and then we got, I'll tell you what, man, we got Wofford.
All right, let me
taking
tell you
care of
about
business
Wofford.
against Seton Hall.
They shoot 43% of their shots from 3. They shoot the second highest 3-point percentage at 41%. Now I don't know about you but they're almost making 50% of their shots that are 3-pointers.
Yep.
Like, come on, yeah.
I'm
And
just getting.
they will beat Kentucky in the second round.
Go ahead and rebut you on that point. I think Kentucky's going to
Rebut
take care of
Read my butt.
I think Kentucky's going to go ahead and take care of Wofford.
No.
Emmanuel quickly bias aside, local legend. I think Kentucky's just better inside, and that's going to determine this game more so than 3-point shooting.
Dude, as far as like, and this doesn't have anything to do with March Madness, but like as far as prospects go, no one in Kentucky like stands out. Like even PJ Washington.
I agree.
It's been like really disappointing. I thought Emmanuel quickly was going to play himself in the first round, but he didn't do so. And,
He's a long-term
but
guy. I think.
it also has to do with that Calipari offense. It's just like a weird. Like there's always that one guy that gets left out.
Yeah, Emmanuel has been
saw it with-
situationally good. I still don't know why he favors Ashton Higgins so much. Not just looking at the box. Ashton Higgins is drawn into a lot of stupid mistakes. Sometimes.
Tyler Hero can shoot the ball, but like outside of that,
He just needs to trust his stuff. I mean, he seems, for a guy who rode into Kentucky full of charisma, I feel like that's kind of been missing at points in the season for him. If Tyler Hero is confident and trusts his stuff, he's dominant. He has a chance to be very dominant. Great, scoring guard. But
I feel like all these guys are second-year guys, which is weird for a
it's
Kentucky
gonna be a good game, I think. But I think Kentucky's gonna pull it out just because of size. Reed Travis, Nick Richards, PJ. But I mean, like we've been saying, it's March. Anything is possible. That's abundant, at this point. But for me, I have Kentucky moving on, and they're gonna face Houston in an even better game.
Wofford, you heard it here first, folks. Wofford making it to the Final Four.
Sicko mode. So it's just going down the other side of the bracket. The Sweet 16 for the South looks like Virginia and Oregon, and St. Mary's versus Tennessee. And the Sweet 16 for the Midwest is UNC, New Mexico State. And Houston versus Kentucky for me. Houston versus Wofford for him. We shall see. That was really our only point of disagreement, on air anyway.
Yeah.
We hashed it out for a good while off the set here. Shout out Offset. Father of Four was a great album.
Offset.
In other basketball related news, I'm ready. Like I don't have. Tomorrow is Thursday, March 21st, and I don't have shit to do, so I'm gonna watch March Madness. Write that down. Save.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with Sting. What are you doing?
Getting high off of March Madness, shorty. And that's gonna be all for us, folks. Thank you for tuning in to our first live video. I'm seated beside now a Calvin Klein model who actually looks like an extra from The Fault in Our Stars. We'll have to check out the faults in our bracket next week, as we only went to the Sweet 16 today.
I thought I was Charlie Brown.
Charlie Black and Mild. More NCAA content is on the way for sure, as it is March. It is that time of the year. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SportsDeskPod_, Instagram at the SportsDeskPod, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're going to be churning out a lot more content on there. You can subscribe to us at the SportsDeskPod. And that's going to be all, folks. You guys have a good night. You can fucking delete that. I'm mad. Or Michigan, Buffalo. I dropped off against.
Guys, I have a new match on Tinder.
Breaking news: Noah has a new match on Tinder.